last time I did a setup tour, my setup looked like this. A lot has changed since then. Right now my setup costs around this much in total, and it still allows me to be as productive as possible on any given day. Let's start off with the desk itself. For the desk, I'm using the FlexiSpot EG1 with grey legs and a mahogany top. It's an electric sit-stand desk that is operated by these two switches that let me adjust the vertical position of the desk with ease. It's very useful for when I want to record standing or just adjust the height of the desk for different use cases. As well as this, I have a lot of things mounted and clamped onto my desk, and the countertop has never cracked or compressed. It's pretty solid. I've got clamps to hold up my camera, monitors and microphone. I've got power bricks mounted to the underside of the desk, and I even have my extension cord mounted to the table leg so no cables get caught when I raise the height of the desk or change it. The chair I've been using is the S21 Enigma. This chair can be adjusted in 6 different ways to make it as comfortable as possible. The armrests can swivel and change height. The whole chair can be height adjusted. The reclining functionality can be tension adjusted or locked. The seat can move back and forth, and even the backrest has many different height settings. The combination of this standing desk and this chair make recording sitting or standing, relaxing, or just doing anything in my setup as comfortable as possible. The PC powering this whole setup is still my custom built budget PC from last year. Let's go over the specs. For the CPU, I have the Ryzen 7 2700X. It's more than good enough for anything I need to do on a daily basis, whether that's video editing, gaming, or just browsing the web. My GPU is the GTX 1650 Super, specifically the MSI Ventus XS model. It's a small dual fan graphics card. It's mainly good for 1080p gaming without ray tracing, but it can handle some games at 1440p, and just general use in 1440p is pretty good so far. It's not the best GPU, but for my needs, it's good enough.
Plus, have you seen GPU prices recently? I couldn't afford an upgrade even if I wanted one.
The PC also has 16GB of Corsair Vengeance RAM at 3200MHz, a 1TB SATA SanDisk SSD, and then 4TB of hard drive storage for mass storage and basically all my video work, and this is all put together on an Asus B450MK motherboard. The PC is powered by a 500W 80 plus bronze power supply. I also have a PCIe wireless card for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, even though most of the time I am using a hardwired Ethernet connection. Since the last time, I have changed the look of my PC. For the case, I now use the Cougar MG120G, and I have put in 4 Arctic P12 fans, all in black. Moving on to the monitors, the PC is connected to 2 monitors via DisplayPort and DVI. My main monitor is a 27-inch 1440p monitor by Electric. This was a very good deal. I got it for around £130. It's an IPS panel with decent built-in speakers, and it's only 95Hz, but because I don't game that much, I don't care about it too much, and the response time is 5 milliseconds on this monitor. Ports-wise, it's got a HDMI in, DisplayPort in, a USB for power, and then an audio output. The secondary monitor is my 2014 Dell monitor with a resolution of 1280 by 1024. It's 75Hz, also an IPS panel that I used to be running off DisplayPort, but because my GPU only has one DisplayPort out, I'm now running it off DVI. I mainly use the second monitor to look at something in OBS while I'm recording, or to glance over at something in Discord or Zoom when I'm in a call. I'm still going to keep this monitor around for a while because older anime and older video games still fit much better on this aspect ratio than a standard 16:9. If you've got this far in the video, maybe consider liking the video or subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Okay, back to the video. Both of these monitors are on my dual monitor mount. My dual monitor mount isn't gas or spring loaded, but even if I can't line up the monitors perfectly, it's enough for me and I don't plan to upgrade. For peripherals, the main keyboard I use is the Drop Enter with Halo True switches, and mine is in the green-gray colorway. It's a very solid entry-level mechanical keyboard. It doesn't have any fancy features, but it's a big step up from Otemu brown switches that I had in my last keyboard, and it still connects with a detachable USB-C, which is great. My mouse is a generic rechargeable gaming mouse I got on Amazon. For me, I think it's light enough, and oh, it has RGB. And if you're wondering why I have this specific one, well, it was cheap and it was enough of an upgrade from the old HP Office mouse. Both my keyboard and mouse are on this Great Wave mousepad, which is 300 by 900 millimeters. It's actually got a rubber bottom and it's pretty easy to clean. I would know, I've spilled stuff on this a few times. The remote mouse app is also very useful in my setup. It basically turns your phone into a trackpad. I use this when I'm watching something from bed and I don't want to get up and click the next episode button. I can just do it from my phone in bed. I also have this USB hub with individual switches connected to the PC. It's very helpful for plugging in SD cards, controlling my lighting, and many other things like plugging in a controller. Because I can turn things on and off individually, I know exactly what's active when plugged into this hub, and it's just fun because these switches are very satisfying. Now for the recording and audio setup. Most of my audio going in or out actually goes through the Behringer UM2, which is a small audio interface that I have mounted to the side of my table leg. It allows me to connect XLR microphones to my computer and also get better audio output to my headset. I currently use the QPad QH92 as my daily driver. speakers. They're basically the same as the HyperX Cloud 2s, but without any of the HyperX branding. QPad actually makes these headsets for HyperX, so if you can pick them up for cheaper than the HyperX Cloud 2s, go for it. If they're the same price, it doesn't really matter what you go with, they're both the exact same. These stay hidden under my table because my Toner T30 boom arm actually has a built-in headset holder, and on my Toner T30 boom arm I have the Lewitt LCT440 Pure. It's an amazing condenser microphone that I have simply connected to my Behringer UM2 with an XLR cable. It's the microphone you're listening to right now, and I use it for all my recordings, all my calls, and anything I would need a microphone for. It's just great. I also have this little B sticker on my boom arm. It doesn't actually do anything, but it's just nice to have. My main camera right now is the Nikon D30-100 with the stock lens. I've got it powered by a dummy battery, and I've also got it plugged into a capture card just so I can get a live preview of anything when I'm recording. I'll put the camera settings I use on the screen right now if you care about those. To make this 10-year-old camera look the best it can, I use two lights. Firstly, this 10-inch ring light, which is on a magic arm mounted to my monitor mount, and secondly, this RGB key light, which also stays mounted to my desk. The Nikon D30-100 is an old camera that still produces very good looking 1080p, and it was just a camera my family had lying around, so I didn't have to buy anything besides the dummy battery and the capture card to use it. I also have this small webcam on my main monitor for things like Discord and Zoom calls, because sometimes I don't want to set up this Nikon D30-100 with OBS and virtual cam, and I just want to use a webcam that's pretty easy to use. I got these small black speakers because they're louder than the built-in speakers on my monitor, and they produce slightly better audio quality. For the price, they are very solid, and I would highly recommend them. As for my secondary camera that I use handheld, it's just my iPhone SE 2020, because it produces great looking video conveniently, and working alongside with this gimbal, it just works great. That's the current state of my setup. It's never going to be perfect, but your setup shouldn't limit you. As long as the idea and the content itself is good, the gear doesn't matter as much. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you at some point in the future.